Hello and welcome to this session where we will focus on our CO2 solutions within food retail. Today we will start by focusing on our solutions for hypermarkets. Then we'll move on to our solutions for smaller stores such as discounters. Then we'll focus on gas detection, and last but not least we will present to you our brand new SFA10 for CO2. We have convinced our great product managers to go out in the mobile training unit and do live presentations for you. So let's see if we can connect. Are you ready, guys?
Yeah, thank you, Anja. Thank you very much. Yes, we are indeed here in the training unit, Kalinski and myself, and we are going to introduce some of the new components, some of the updated components that we have invested in recently for the CO2 solutions that we're offering. So this includes both the multi-ejector and also the updated pack controller. And the pack controller is what I'm going to talk about just now. So please follow me to the panel here, one of the many panels we have in the training unit. So inside we have the AKPC 782 installed, and the 782 is the market-leading CO2 controller, and we are continuously investing into the 782 technology in terms of control methods and algorithms. The 782 is a highly flexible controller, so whether you have the smallest simple mini booster with a few compressors and technology that fits your store that might have come to the market 10 years ago, or you're using the newest technology in terms of ejectors and maybe with 10 or 12 compressors, then the 782 is flexible and it can be scaled in terms of number of compressors, the technology you choose, and also different options to cover your full application needs on the pack side. So as you define your application, the number of features increases, and also the number of I/O points and types of I/Os that you need also increases. And this puts demands on the hardware. And here on the left-hand side you have the pack controller itself, so this is a 782, and depending on which I/O types and number of I/O you need, you expand your hardware with expansion modules. So here we have a 103, we have a 205 that offers different I/O types that fits with the specific application. So in this way, both the hardware and the software is flexible. We have a highly efficient solution. We have invested in CO2 for many years, and we have refined this solution throughout the years. And today CO2 is feasible in all climates throughout the technologies that we are offering. Also in terms of reliability, the Danfoss pack controllers are state-of-the-art. So it's not just a cost-efficient solution for you to buy, but it's also a solution that you can trust in. So the algorithms are efficient and they are also very robust, and that means that they can cover many different applications, and they are also able to maintain cooling and overcome difficult periods with difficult operational conditions, so that the cooling capacity of your store is maintained. The 782 features up to 12 compressors. It has up to 3 suction groups, so your MT, your LT, and also your parallel intermediate compressors. And that's all integrated and coordinated in the 782. It masters the high pressure control, so in the gas cooler where you have more than 100 bar, and the receiver pressure where we are creating the pressure for the rest of the evaporators. In the high pressure gas cooler we have also very high temperature, and this is one of the keys to obtaining a good efficiency. That is that you can also, on top of the normal efficiency, you can harvest the energy from the gas cooler. And here also the 782 has a state-of-the-art built-in function where you can choose to have up to 2 heat recovery circuits that maintain your general heating and your hot water, and increase the whole efficiency of the installation. So this is the 782 in terms of robustness, efficiency, flexibility, which is some of the trade smarts of the 782. So thank you, and over to you, Anja.
Thank you, Brian. That was a good presentation. It is clear that the controller is a vital part of the system, but another vital part is of course the ejector. Therefore, let's go back to the mobile training unit and see if Shemek is ready.
Hello, in this presentation I will focus on the CTM multi-ejector which is the vital part of the Danfoss multi-ejector solution. Historically, the CO2 system efficiency has been a challenge in warm ambient conditions. With the CTM multi-ejector, the CO2 equator has been eliminated. This solution makes the CO2 refrigeration systems economically competitive with a standard HFC systems, no matter what is the ambient temperature. Please follow me and let's have a look where the CTM is located in the mobile training unit. So here you can see the CTM multi-ejector, which is a very special type. It contains the liquid ejector, the low pressure ejectors, and also the high pressure ejectors. It is not something what is open for the regular sales, but in order to run different type of applications and simulate different working conditions, we are having this very specific version here. For the sake of simplicity and better understanding, let's have a look on the standard transcritical system with IT compressors. The multi-ejector is located here between the gas cooler and the receiver. Here you can see that it's mounted in parallel with the high pressure valve, but it is done in that way only for the training purposes. In a standard system, the high pressure valve becomes redundant and the multi-ejector takes over its functionality. It takes over its functionality and it gives much more. It is designed in a way to lift some gas leaving the empty cases, mix it with a gas leaving the gas cooler, and send it to the receiver at the medium pressure level. In the next step, the pre-compressed gas is taken by the IT compressors, which operates more efficiently thanks to the lower pressure lift required. To sum up this part, let me focus on the benefits for both OEMs and end users. So the high pressure valve, it becomes redundant, so it is a clear saving for the OEM. Secondly, you can use either less or smaller IT compressors because they operate with pre-compressed gas. And the end users, they will be happy to see lower energy consumption, resulting in smaller energy bills and fast payback time. Let's go back to the podium so we can look into different types of the ejectors which we have in our family. By using this two-pager and answering questions about the ambient temperature, the system type, the store type, and system size, you can very easily determine which type of the multi-ejector you should use. We have 4 different types. There is a low pressure type, which is dedicated for booster systems. We have the high pressure multi-ejector, which is dedicated for parallel compression systems. There is a liquid one, which is suitable for all types of transcritical refrigeration systems. And finally, there is a combi block, which is a combination of the high pressure valves and liquid valves inside of one aluminum block. We have different sizes. There is a big one, the CTM6, which can have either 4, 5, or 6 individual ejectors. We have also smaller size, like here, which is a CTM1 with 1 ejector inside. There is also CTM2, which can have 2 ejectors. What is important is that, irrespective from the size, we have a built-in strainer, which is very easily to access and to make a service. Please make sure that you will watch a presentation with my colleague, Preben, who will present all the details how to make the cleaning of this strainer. As a final word, let me emphasize that the CTM multi-ejector and the AKPC782 pack controller they were developed in order to take the CO2 refrigeration systems to the next level. Please try use it and experience a full benefit of the CO2 as the refrigerant. Thank you, and back to studio.
Thank you, Przemek, for that great presentation. Now we move over to our small store formats and introducing CO2 mini pack solution. Brian, are you ready?
Yeah, thank you, Anja, and hi again, everyone. And now we're going to talk about the mini pack solution of Danfoss. It consists of electronic components as well as mechanic components. This is an application area we have invested in the recent years, and this is a market that has opened up since the new technology as well as legislation and public opinion moves from traditional refrigerants to natural refrigerants. So we will talk about the mini pack solution, and my focus today will be the 572 in this session. So the AKPC 572 solution consists of a battery backup module, the EKE2U. It consists of two extension modules, EKE1P, and it consists of the pack controller itself, AKPC 572. If we take the components in that order, then the battery backup module is there for safeguarding the closure of the valves in case of a power outage. You don't want the high pressures in the refrigeration system to drift to locations that are not in control of during a power outage. So if the power goes, then the battery backup module will ensure the safe closing of the valve. Also, the status of the battery backup module is available in the pack controller. So this means if the battery backup module is charging, if it's closing the valves, this information is available in the pack controller as one solution, you can say. In the same way, we have the two valve drivers, the EKE1P. This is also a fully transparent module. We use this to extend the I/O of the pack controller. So here we have one stepper valve on one module, stepper valve on the other module, and we also utilizing some of the other I/Os to have sufficient input-output on the solution. We have two modules, and the way that the pack controller distinguish whether it's the one module or the other is simply that you apply a wire, a short circuiting on one of the analog input, and this tells the module that now you are the module that controls the gas bypass valve, and the one without the short circuit controls the high pressure valve. So this is typically the only configuration you have to do of the EKE1 modules, that is to apply a short circuit. Then we have the pack controller itself, the AKPC 572. This is built on the market-leading algorithms and robustness that we know from the market-leading 782. So here you will get the same level of efficiency. You will get the same level of safety of the system. Where we have where we are distinguishing this solution from the 782 is that this is a dedicated solution. And this is one of the ways we have made CO2 easy to work with. And this is important in an application like this, because typically we have smaller stores. You might have different OEMs or installers, service engineers that service a smaller installation compared to the traditional large installation. And therefore it's very imminent that we have made CO2 easy to work with. You don't have to do revisits. You don't have to spend a long time to do the fine-tuning of the different parameters. So this was one of the key objectives with this solution. It features, even if it's less flexible, it is a full booster pack, so we can have 3 compressors on the MT, we can have 2 compressors on the LT. We have a full control of the gas cooler, we have control of the receiver pressure, and we also have a number of optional features like a heat recovery to increase the efficiency, a de-superheater to increase the capacity in very warm ambient, gas bypass as a safety feature, and other functions that are optional. So this is all part of this solution, but made available in a very easy way. So let's have a look at how the information is presented. There will be a session later on that demonstrates the wizard that we have applied here, but I will just, for the purpose of this session here, I will show how we have made the application available and visible so that it's easy to get an overview. And here we have the 572 that is set up as a single booster system, so we see the empty suction group and the key parameters around that, as well as the temperature control around the gas cooler. If we go to the next page, then we see further details on the suction group. We have further details on the gas cooler, opening degree of the valve, the reference and so on in terms of pressure and temperatures. And also for the receiver we have a graphical representation of the application. So this is a daily use picture where you can very easily get an overview of how your application is running. In the same way we have made it very easy to set up the different types of Danfoss valves. So if you want to choose for instance the newest CCMT light valve, then this is done easily through a drop-down list where that is the only parameter that you have to set up. And I think that's actually the next topic. So back to you, Anja. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Now let's have a look at the valve side. We have our well-known CCMT range and the new extension, the CCMT Lite. Let's have a look in the mobile training unit. Shemek?
Hello everyone. In this part I will focus on the CCMT, electric pressure regulating valves, which are optimized for the CO2 refrigerations. Those valves have versatile applications. Firstly, they can be used as the high pressure valve, taking care of the pressure inside of the gas cooler. You will also find them between the receiver and the compressors, acting as the gas bypass valve. And finally, they can be also used as the expansion valves for evaporators. In this case, we have the AKVP, but they can be easily replaced by the CCMT valves. Follow me and let's have a look on the family of the CCMT valves. There is a CCMT medium, types from 2 up to 8, with a kV value of 0.8 cubic meter per hour. And that is the maximum value for those valves. CCMT Lite, that is the newest addition to our portfolio, being able to replace exactly the same, being able to replace the CCMT medium in terms of the capacity, because the maximum value which they are having, it is also 0.8 cubic meters per hour. And finally, there is a CCMT Large, types from 16 up to 42, with a capacity from 1.6 up to 4.2 cubic meters per hour. It is fully serviceable, 3-in-1 concept, with a built-in filter. In this type, which I have today, you will see that there is a MBS pressure transmitter integrated into the body, but we also have a version without this MBS. And those valves are optimized for the systems above 100 kilowatts. Coming back to our latest development, that is the CCMT Lite. The valve is very robust, accurate, and easy to use. It is designed in a way to have high tolerance for dirt and debris, what reduces the number of service-related incidents and improves the long performance of the valve and the whole system. But in case there is a need to make a maintenance, thanks to the fact that it is a cartridge design, you can very easily take it apart, clean all the internal components, replace the O-rings, or if necessary, you can replace the whole actuator. We have 12 different code numbers with different connection sizes and types, which are very easily to be installed in the application. And the installation time is very quick and easy because you can simply remove the product from the box and you can start the installation procedure. And for sure, it saves a lot of time and energy for the OEMs. There is one more thing I would like to show you, so please follow me. Brian? Here you can see the cross-section of the CCMT Lite. This valve has a linear opening curve and there is no capacity jump at the very beginning. What is also important is that it is having a low hysteresis, And thanks to that, the pressure regulation is very accurate. And all those features are combined with a very quick operation of the valve. It takes only 2.1 seconds from open to close position. Please make a zoom on this part and you will see how quickly it operates. It is still in the open position, and now you've been able to see how fastly it closes. What I can promise to you is that CCMT Lite and CCMT family will grow, so please watch out for the next releases. Thank you, and back to studio.
Thank you, Szymek. Yes, we are very much looking forward to the extension of our CCMT family. Now we will move over to something different. Now we'll focus on gas detection for all stores. Over to you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Anja. Yes, and I will talk about a different part of the refrigeration installation, namely the gas detection system. And we have in 2019 introduced the second generation of the gas detection product range, which offers new features and state-of-the-art functions. So it's a wide product range which I'll introduce to you. And we have also installed a gas detector here in the mobile training unit. So we have here to the left of me we have a room, and here we have a sensor head installed inside in the room, and above the room we have, with the remote cable, we have the sensor electronics that is safeguarding the room, so to say. We also have the gas detector with a built-in sensor, and we have here monitoring the gas level here in the mobile training unit. We have a unit with a built-in sensor element. So the whole product range is offering peace of mind, and that's really the main value of the gas detection system. And on top of that, we have developed it so that it's something that fits the food retail and general commercial building industry, so that it's something that you can take out of the box, install electrically, and then in most cases you actually can connect the power and you have your monitoring system and gas detection system up and running. The peace of mind is delivered out of the box, you can say, firstly because we have a pre-calibrated sensor, and this comes with a calibration certificate that has a certain validity or duration that it's valid. And if we take CO2, then the validity of the certificate is actually 5 years, and that is quite remarkable for gas detection systems like this. When it comes to the expiration of the validity of the calibration, then the sensor will actually give a small warning message so that you are aware that you need to do the calibration. And when the calibration is due, you can choose to follow the semi-automated calibration process, where you are guided through some steps to do the calibration, or you can choose simply to buy a new sensor element. You can actually open the gas detection unit. You can unplug the sensor element while the power is on, and then you can plug in the new sensor element, and it will start detecting the gas based on the new element. So it's easy like this. One of the other features that is offering peace of mind is a safe entry function. So you can choose to activate a function, which means that when you enter the room, you can activate the function, and that actually simulates an alarm of the system. So before you enter a room, for instance, you can do this on a daily basis, you can do it on a weekly basis, depending on the safety measurements and standards of the end user. You press and hold a button, and after some seconds it will simulate an alarm, and then you can actually see that the warning unit of the gas detection system is actually activating, and that means that the safety chain of the gas detection system is well functioning. The whole DGS is not certified according to functional safety or similar standards, but it's actually developed in a compliant, CL2 compliant development process, and that means that the way that the product is designed and structured gives the highest safety in the industry. We have both a critical alarm relay, which has a threshold which depending on the gas allows you to work a certain number of hours in the environment even if you have reached the critical level. So it is a safe critical level, but we also have a warning level that allows you to get a pre-warning and have a separate alarm relay for this function. The whole range consists of just 5 sensor elements, but between these 5 sensor elements we actually cover more than 30 refrigerants, and that means that one DDS will actually cover a range of refrigerants, which means that the logistics and the inventory that you hold in your stock is reduced. Also, the whole range, all the DDSs are equipped for communication. They come with a Modbus communication capability, and it's an open Modbus. You can choose to integrate it with the Danfoss System Manager, make it part of your refrigeration system. And here in the mobile training unit we have done just that. So here we have a graphical representation of a pack, and we can see here the icon of the gas detection system, and right now we have 481 ppm in this mobile training unit. So that is how you can monitor the gas detection, you can follow the level, you can do data logging, and you can do analysis of your gas detection system. So that's a quick introduction to the DDS. So back to you, Anja.
Thank you, Brian. Now we move over to something completely different. It is our brand new SFA safety valve. We are just launching it now, today actually. So let's move over in the mobile training unit and get it all straight from Jakob, the product manager. Are you ready, Jakob?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Anja. Hello, and I would like today to present the 2 new products at Danfoss safety valve SFA10, coming together with a DSV changeover valve, products which are designed according to industrial standards. It's applicable for capacities which is medium, low charge industrial systems, but also CO2 transcritical small to medium sized systems. With the industrial design that we are introducing here, we are addressing some of the most common issues in the CO2 transcritical systems with leaks, with sudden reliefs and lost charges, something that annoys everyone in the industry, I think. It's applicable for your suction accumulators, it's applicable for LT, MT suction lines, but also LT discharge lines. Up to a certain capacity, of course, you can calculate that with the use of our Cool Selector 2 calculation software. At least once it's introduced to the market by the end of the year. Safety valves are subject to inspection every 1 to 6 years. It really depends on where you are in the world, but every 1 to 6 years it's required that you actually access the valve, that you do an inspection and also a pressure verification of the set pressure. Of course, you can also decide to replace it, scrap it, and also to repair it. It's not widely in CO2 transcritical systems to actually keep the products alive, but with this valve we are introducing the possibility to actually repair and keep the product alive rather than throwing it away. To make that safe as required in the EN 378, we are introducing also the DSV changeover valve, where you have the possibility to mount 2 SFAs, and you can then switch the port here, close one, open another, making sure that you always have one safety valve in operation while yours can service or replace or whatever on the other one. To make that even more safe, we also have made sure that you know in which direction to turn the spindle once you want to open, for instance, or shut port B. You would have to turn it clockwise and opposite. But let's look a bit into the product and see what it means in terms of industrial, reliable and durable design. There's a number of critical components inside, which basically defines the function of the valve. First of all, you have the spring. The spring is the one applying the pressure to the seat or through the cone, ensuring you have the exact right opening pressure. This we have made in a slightly bigger size compared to the competitors you have in CO2 systems. You can also see it that the bonnet is slightly bigger compared to competition. And the main reason for that is that we don't want to stress the springs, because with the more stress you have, the more relaxation you also have on the springs. And with relaxation you actually have a set pressure which is dropping over time, and we don't like that. We want the set pressure to be steady, at least until you have the next service or inspection. Secondly, you want the valve to be tight. Many other brands are using different kind of sealing methods. It can be flat sealing, it can be hard Teflon, etc. Our experience is with safety valves that these have to be, that the O-ring give you the best solution. The O-ring is by far, due to the elasticity of the product, the best material in order to compensate, small differences on the cone or the seat of the valve. In addition, in our design, we are also sealing, difficult to see here, but we are sealing on the top and the inside of the seat. And let's say we have the higher pressure coming in here on the downside here, or the upstream side. That pressure is actually helping us to keep the O-ring in good shape, because we are sealing against the inside of the seat. And keeping the O-ring in the right shape rather than trying to make it into a very strange shape and even popping it out, that actually helps us to keep the valve tight and also in place. We don't pop the O-ring out, and because with that you would definitely have a sudden relief. Finally, you want to have a perfect reseating once you have the product relieving, which is quite common in CO2 systems due to the nature of CO2 and standstill. You want a perfect reseating. Again, the O-ring here will help us a lot, because you can have a little impurity coming from the system, and the product is actually capable of taking, at least to some extent, these particles and still ensure a tight seating. Making a safety valve is basically not that difficult. Making one prototype that works is not difficult. What matters to you as a customer, that is definitely that you have a manufacturer who can manufacture one valve after another, and still they are performing as specified. That requires you have a very good quality assurance in your production. In our design, we know exactly how our tolerances should be, so that we ensure that we are always within the tolerances in our operation. And this we have told and shared, of course, to our suppliers, that they have to fulfill and supply parts with a very narrow tolerance and what is called a high CPK value. If you want, you can also have the product certified by TÜV, not only the product design, but also that the set pressure or pressure setting of the valve is actually done correctly and is verified by TÜV. At the same time, they also check that all the materials are actually fulfilling the requirements to a pressure-bearing product. So, how can we make a difficult or product that is, quite sensible, easy to service? How can we do that? Well, the concept is that we introduce this as our service part. This is what we have pre-assembled for you. We have made sure that this O-ring is actually fitting 100% and is in the correct place. And the only thing you have to do would be to assemble the product like I'm doing now. Into the valve. Mount the seats with sufficient torque, of course. And then you can do your adjustment of your spring. Make sure that it's to the right set pressure. But this has to be done by an accredited service provider that can ensure and measure that it is the exact correct set pressure. So, but this, he will also be the person who is actually verifying the set pressure, so can also, of course, set the pressure, make the right pressure setting when you have replaced the cone and the O-ring. So, all in all, we are talking about a reliable product. You don't have to replace one valve after another, you know, even more frequent than required, because you kind of lost confidence in the product. This product is reliable until the next inspection is due. It's, as you saw before, also repairable, and by that we are introducing definitely a sustainable solution. And as our captain here on the background is saying, the SFA-10 will sail for years without losing its course. And I hope now that you understand a little what we are referring to when we are phrasing things like this. So that is designed according to industrial standards. The product is available for sales with pressure setting up to 65 bar around November 2020 this year, so in very short time. You can buy the products, you know, singled. It means that you can buy it as separate code numbers, but we're also introducing an attractive code number where you can purchase one changeover valve together with two safety valves in one code number. So you can follow the introduction of the product on our Danfoss site, and of course you will also hear much more about it on our social medias at that time around November. So that was the product here, and back to you, Anja.
Thank you, Jakob, for that great introduction to the new safety valve. That was all we had to present to you guys today about CO2, but tomorrow we'll have a session focusing on applications and hands-on. Now, the product managers and I will go into a chat room to be able to answer your questions, so hope to see you all there. Thank you.